Hello my Havoc Pack, and welcome to the very first episode of Bare Bones. This video we're going to be going over runes and masteries and answering a few of the most vital questions. What are runes and masteries? Runes and masteries are a means of altering a champion's basic stats before you actually get into a game. Every champion has their base stats, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, but runes and masteries allow you to either increase a champion's strengths or decrease the severity of their weaknesses. They can also allow you to perform better in certain roles. For example, Sona is traditionally a support champion, which means she benefits the most from the utility tree, which has advantages that provide a great deal more use to a support champion than they would to, say, a top laner. How do I build my runes? Since I focused this all on picking it up from level 1, I do have to assume you won't have the rune slots all unlocked yet. But as you go, you will likely find the most helpful strategy is to buy the runes as you unlock the slots. When you unlock a slot to use seals, buy an armor seal to put in there. For glyphs, you seldom go wrong with a magic resist. In your marks, it depends on the champion, but if you look up a commonly used guide or modifier for the champion you want to learn first, that should give you at least a rough idea, and it would usually be either attack speed or physical damage marks, but as I said, it depends on the champion. When you reach level 10, not only does a jungler get access to that much lauded smite spell, but you also unlock what is called a quintessence, or quint for short. As you're still learning the game right from level 1 to 30, I advise using these defensively by buying armor quints or something similar. You can afford to experiment at this point, but don't try and change too much. The longer you can survive, the more circumstances you can find yourself in to learn from. Whereas if you're waiting to respawn, the only thing you can learn from is how to hit the tab key to mute flamers, and reflect on where you went wrong and what to do next. How do I build my masteries? As mentioned, this does change with your role, but the general rule for new players is that much like defensively using your quints, the defensive tree in your masteries is always a good idea. The only exception I find in this is support champions. So if you're learning to support, in that case I highly recommend to just put a point into utility every time you level up. And also, don't learn how to fight. Learn how to help your allies fight while you do all you can to avoid the fight. As a top laner, you're often very resilient. Mid laners tend to have a good damage impact. ADCs can slap you across the room if they have the opportunity to punish you for a mistake. And even junglers have the whole ball pit Sheldon thing going by ducking in and out of the fog of war, applying map pressure and pulling off plays to help turn the tides of battle. But as a support, you're about as resilient and able to punish a mistake as a newborn puppy pretty much. So your role is based on turning those big brown puppy dog eyes towards the enemy, so the enemy team gets distracted and goes, "Aww," before you hear this.
An enemy has been slain.
In defensive builds, the safest option I've found has been to focus on building armor and magic resist first and foremost. If those aren't available, your next best option is to reduce the effectiveness of slows, stuns and other forms of CC or crowd control. Beyond that, health is a good third choice. When you hit level 21, then you can start playing with things and learn to balance your offense and defense, or if you're a passive support that sticks back a lot, utility and defense, while aggressive supports like Thresh, they'd benefit more from offensive masteries. I'm in the game, now what? Now you get to see them in action. Play it through and remember you are still learning. You are entitled to feeding first blood. You are allowed to die to a jungle creep. Going 0-19-0 is not you sucking, it is you learning. So as you see problems, think about what in your runes and masteries might be contributing to those problems. What could be changed to help you out? What might actually be making the problem worse? It is just a case of playing a game, looking at your results and adjusting your build accordingly. And lastly, there is nothing wrong with copying a build from Mobify. It's actually a very good way to get familiar with what a particular champion works best with. Hopefully this video helped give a bit of a more detailed rundown on runes and masteries that could help a fresh face on the Rift. But if not, you're more than welcome to comment below and ask for clarification. I'll try my best to get back to you, but if there happens to be another summoner who can answer your question, I encourage you to answer as well. The best part of League is that we are a community, and as toxic as solo queue gets, we are basically Ohana. Nobody gets left behind or forgotten. And speaking of forgotten, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share the video to your fellow summoners. This is HexDDG signing off. Keep 'em howling.